Thank you. Atlanta Fire Rescue releasing new photos of a person of interest in connection with the arson at Wendy's following the police shooting of Rayshard Brooks. The images captured from a BP gas station right next to the restaurant. Investigators say this is a different woman from the one in photos they released over the weekend. Those photos showing another woman dressed in black, her face mostly covered. Again, investigators believe these are two different women, but they want to talk to both. They're not sure if the people responsible are tied to a larger group, but that's what they're thinking here, possibly looking for multiple arsonists. Crime Stoppers and Georgia Arson Control are both offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to an arrest. So that's a total of $20,000.